Hello and welcome to the short tutorial regarding the Photoshop script Recut and Reslice based off of Daniel Perujo's excellent Photoshop extension Cut and Slice Me, which I used extensively back with CS6, and it unfortunately was not able to work when I upgraded to Photoshop 2020 and 2024. So this has been rewritten from scratch using JavaScript, actually ExtendScript, and it mimics what originally the extension did. So this is not the UI. This is actually a proposed UI we didn't have time to implement. And I thought, well, why not save it as a perfect file that people can see how it works? So what this does is usually when there's a digital product as an end result, for an app, for a web page, you have to have a UI. And in that UI, you want to mock it up here, see what it's going to look like, and then shift things around constantly. It's a very iterative process, but you only want to export certain parts of it, certain layers, and other ones you don't. So to use this script, there's a bit of front loading that you have to put in particular suffixes to the layer names. So if you wanted to export a series of the buttons in their various incarnations of either pressed or normal or disabled, you would actually name it that way here in the layers. So under directory _ capital BTN, that is a button. And what the script is going to specifically look for is one of three named directories underneath. One is pressed, one is normal, and one is disabled. And these are sort of hard-coded words that they're looking for. So you don't need to have a disabled folder, but if it finds any of these in here, it will export the folder. Now what it does is if it finds these particularly named layers, it will merge them, it will trim the transparent pixels, and it will export it as a PNG to a directory in the same location as your original Photoshop file. And it does this for you automatically without being destructive to the original Photoshop file, so that it basically returns to when you first started. And this allows you multiple iterations of moving things around, renaming, adding, subtracting, and just pressing the button again, and it re-exports it all for you. So this is how it works. The first thing I've done is I've put the script in the default scripts folder for Photoshop. So I go to Browse. It takes me to my folder. You can put this anywhere. So the JSX just needs to be available. Load it up. It pops up, and you have to select what format you're going for. In this case, we've got iOS, we've got Android, and Mac OS. If you click on Android, you have the options of the various formats for Android. There's only 4 right now. Again, this was just emulating what was done for CS6, and you can also choose Mac OS. So let's just go with iOS and Android for now. Also, you've got the ability to export a text file which shows you the coordinates of each of these things in the original setup, which should ease things for your engineer or your artist to recreate them in the digital product. So if you want to cut all the assets, it's going to go literally through the entire hierarchy looking for things, including things such as a layout of how you want to have a particular boundary around something. Also, if you just want one layer exported for whatever reason, any arbitrary layer, you simply put the @ sign at the end and it will export that. It will merge and export that for you as a PNG as well. So let's take a look at this. You can see that you've got dozens of things named with _BTN and then underneath it normal and pressed. And it will export all of these things by just me hitting the cut all assets. Under subgroups, if you just have one directory chosen, everything underneath that is going to be exported. And of course, cut selected is just for things with that @ sign that you just want to export the one layer there. But in this case, I want to export the cut information about the coordinates, and I want to cut all assets. So let's watch that go. So it's now saving all this stuff out. And while that's working, I want to bring it up for you. So this is where I first read in the PSD file. This is where, of course, I'm running the script from. Now, it's not going to put it in the same directories where you're running the script. It's going to put the sliced layers into the same folder as your original Photoshop file. That's a very important distinction. Also, there is a bit of a primer here from the original web page from Daniel Perujo when he did the original Cut and Slice Me. Again, an excellent extension, and he's working on a 2.0 which has a lot more features. This was sort of a loving homage to it, and I urge people to read through it because it goes through all of the real rules in much more detail than I'm able to do so in this short tutorial. But it does give you pretty much all the instruction you need, and go take a look at his Dribble page as well. So it looks like this is done. Let's check the out file here. Actually, it'll let us know when it's done. It's still working. That's fine. So you can come in here and take a look at what it's doing while it's working. It actually names subdirectories, iPhone and Android. Go into the iPhone one, and you can see that everything has been saved as one of two sizes, and it's PNG. So everything's named as per the directory name, and this is something where you can consistently export or one layer or one group and constantly modify and quickly iterate. So recut and reslice over and over and over again. The thing that we're trying to better about this, a couple of, for lack of a better word, I'd say bugs, is the fact that you cannot actually move any of this stuff very well with the recut and reslice me. And also you can't really, it sort of pops around, I don't know why. But the other thing is that you need to actually get rid of this UI before you want to go back and start using Photoshop. Other than that, you should be able to constantly re-export things. You've got all the information right there for you, and I hope you have a good time using this script. Thank you very much.